Hey, aloha, good morning, and welcome to the Pure KNF office hour for October 9th, 2022. Welcome. Man, you can see been outside a whole bunch this past week, been building. Got a little bit of a great farmer stand there. All right, so let's see here, and start off today with a little bit of higher inspiration, and today's hexagram is 49, which is lake over fire. So think about it, and it is a revolution. This is funny, kind of funny. It's one of my friend Mason Mermo's core fundamental hexagrams, and he called me the other day, so I got a shout out to Meso. But this hexagram announces the arrival of a time of revolution. A set of conditions, internal or external or both, is ready to pass away in favor of a more beneficial situation. What enables this transformation is your conscientious and vigorous adherence to correct thoughts and behavior. No revolution in outer things is possible without a prior revolution in one's inner way of being. Whatever change you aspire to in your affairs must be preceded by a change in heart and active deepening and strengthening of your resolve to meet every event with equanimity, detachment, and innocent goodwill. When this spiritual poise is achieved within, magnificent things are possible without. The revolution of others are enabled also when we refine the fire of goodness and truth inside ourselves. Sincere commitment to higher things travels outward in powerful waves from a superior person. And all those around us are affected by this. Indisputably, to lead one's inner self to truth and peace is to lead the outer world to truth and peace. A beneficial revolution is assured to one who takes that path now. So hey, what's up, friends? That's a good one. It's a good one. It means revolution. It means we've made it through the little bit of whatever was challenging us. And because we turned ourselves into superior people, now we're like, have influence outside to affect the world, which is good, because what time more do we need to affect the world than today and right now? And, as natural farmers, getting our word, getting this stuff out, as we project this, it ripples out from us, right? You start doing natural farming, you start making a better beneficial influence in your area. You start coating your land with microbes and raising the vibration of the land, bringing it more to life, raising the electrical conductivity, raising the moisture content, sequestering more of the carbon into the soils, making all this happen. It ripples out in superior ways, right? It's just like, hey, your place is healthier, you're healthier, people are going to pay more attention. It's like, oh, awesome. Yay, cool. This is exactly what's up. So we got folks tuning in from all over the world, talk about, staying on the higher path of revolution, continuing to show up every Sunday, which sometimes I'm like, man, I just saw, but show up. And also so thankful for last time getting tons of super chats. Let's see here. We got a whole bunch of folks that kicked in last time, and it was just really nice. Cheryl, I remember, I gotta actually look it up to see, but it's really nice that folks kick back to there. And what's up, Virginia? Crab Grows. I'm about to go over to Coincide this today, tomorrow, and the following. Come back Tuesday, and go celebrate a wedding from one of my friends from Virginia. Virginia's for lovers, right? And he's getting married. And what's up from Missouri, Mackleby? Yeah, man. And Mitchell, welcome back, man. Aloha. So just set up my first OHN fermentation for the next planting season. So excited. Awesome cyclopath. Cyclopath, yeah, cyclopath. Oh man, that's the OHN, one of the longest to make things, but so tasty. You know, the only thoughts and prayers sent out when you're making OHN is A, don't crack any of your jars or spill any. It's really a bummer to set yourself back that way. It's happened to me. But also be careful how much you end up drinking. Not that you're like, you know, gonna get drunk on it or whatever, but it's so good for human health and having those things that you know, it does great works for our plants, but it's also, you know, something we enjoy to eat ourselves. So, and Saint Vincent in the Grenadines. Oh, Grenada, man. Wow. That's cool. And so drinking coffee from Kauai and smoking herb from the West Coast. Classic. Oh, I went to my sister's wedding last week. I think I talked about that, but then she went to Kauai for a couple days. And so, yeah. And, Crab Grows just finished a small batch of aloe FPJ, and the saponins are all off the chart. Yep, make that stuff wettable, right? Hola from Spain, Partida, howdy, hola. Gracias from Arizona, my KNF peeps. Oh, hey, what's up, Ben? Looking forward to seeing you soon, man. And yeah, Tyler, hey man, Oklahoma in the house. Okay, so hopefully someday Drake, Chris, Logan, and one of Master Cho's will get the Nobel Peace Prize for what they do. Saving human race from starvation definitely qualifies them. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I think sometimes that thing tends to be somewhat politically motivated, and I'm not necessarily on their political high list. And also, if you're interested, you know, yeah, there's saying hope, not fear. Absolutely. Yep. Okay. Best thing about natural remedies. Yes. Yeah. Zero budget techniques. That's where it's at. It really can be if you use Jadam techniques. You know, the Youngsang Cho's KNF and all that. So, okay. Virginia don't play. So before I get into like these things, I just want to show you, I don't know, this muffin. Maybe it's kind of burnt on that side. Let me get this side. It has a nice slab of butter on there because, but this is cassava that we grow on the land that my wife turns into these delicious muffins. And these things are so off the hook and so lit. And it's so amazing to be a natural farmer and have a wife that knows what's up and how to make these goodies. There's some chocolate chips in there, and also look at that butter. It's delicious. But these things, man, talk about good nutrition, good food. Cassava in Hawaii, so easy to grow. If you're in the tropics and you're not growing cassava, it's also known as manioc, yucca, a bunch of names for it, but I call it cassava, which is the Brazilian, I guess, Portuguese name for it. But super ono, really easy, which means delicious. Way to grow and almost no maintenance and super delicious. So you can get some butter in my mustache, but those are lit. I'm gonna just tell you. And if you grow it in Spain, it's called yucca. Yes, it's so easy to grow. And the way my wife does it is after we harvest it, she soaks it for a couple days. You peel the skin off right away and then soak it for a couple days in water. It is so good. That's so good. You soak it in water, and then she takes it and grates it. And then after grating it, then she soaks it a little bit more. She's really into the fermentation, getting the microbes in there, pulling out the toxins, all those things. And yeah, so and then makes it into muffins, and she taught a class on it, and I think it's out there somewhere of what she's doing with it. But yeah, hang on, which was the one I was going to pull up? So yeah, So good cassava right there. Yucca. If you're not growing and you're in the tropics, you should be. And drinking some tea here too. Oh, it's a good morning. Okay, well, hang on. What the? I was gonna look for a presentation with you guys and kind of go over a presentation today. Let me see. The one I was looking for, I found it on my laptop. And my laptop, like I was saying, I've been going over it, and I haven't had this laptop for a while because I gave it to my wife for a while to use. But now that she's over it, or then now that we got a different presentation. This is the corn. Let's see. This is in Korean. Hang on. I was looking for a presentation that I found on my laptop, and I didn't just copy it over here. I don't know why. Yeah, making fries with it too. It's a good way. I also grate it, make cassava that way. Yeah, so, and honey and chili flakes. That sounds epic. Let's see. It's not, I don't think it's this presentation either. The one I was looking for had all like the farmer's heart in it and stuff. It was a actually really good presentation, and it's on my laptop. And that's the thing, man. You know, there's not that many of us out there that have this information, and then it's like, oh no, if my laptop crashes, it's like it's gone. Right? But I do have a bunch of presentations that I got from Master Cho, and have all these things. Let's see here. Hey Drake, I'm on a volcano, and we have so much already going on here in the natural environment. Lots of untouched places. Really want to vibe with you on what and how you can collect the best, like the best microbes. Let's see here. These presentations here are, ooh, here's one on Maltose. Okay, so you know what, I'll just show and share this because there's some interesting things here. We can go through this and see any specific tips for great goat feed. The chicken coop and pig pen should be done this month. The roof's up, looking to get into goats as well. Yes. Yeah, goat feed. The main thing, like one thing you can do is always with animal feed, you can mix about 10% of their feed to be IMO4. Now, certain places like American regulations for commercial farming won't let you put soil into their food, although soil has tons of great nutrients and minerals and all that. So you can just use IMO3 if you have regulations that prevent it. But otherwise, IMO4 is you can mix up to about 10% in there. And as you feed it to your goats, you will notice that their poops become white and myceliated, and they are now dropping little bokashi balls of IMO all over your land. So as the goats travel, they make those little poops, and same with rabbits. And their poop is really good for the land as they go and they cruise, especially as it has those IMOs in it. And it becomes great out there. So whatever recipe you go, you can just add 10% of IMO4 into your animal feeds, and that works out that way. Let me see this one here, and let me drag this over and make it look nice for you guys. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to transition over to this one, and we can check out this presentation here, which is a presentation by Master Cho here, Jinnong Natural Farming Institute. And he's talking about OHN here. And then here's his 5 herbs that he includes: garlic, ginger, licorice, cinnamon, angelica. Well, he selected these 5 herbs because of their healing benefits, especially for reproduction and digestive health. And this recipe came to him in a dream. And this is them kind of soaking the dry herbs, and you can see they're adding in this white stuff, which you'd think, oh, that's milk. No, it's makgole, which is Korean rice wine. So this is like similar to beer. Makgeolli is something they drink in Korea all the time. So they're pouring that into their dry herbs here, enough so that it covers the herbs, and then they're covering it with this breathable lid to rehydrate it all. And then here is the next step after that. They're adding in, after it's been rehydrated 24 hours, they're adding in this brown sugar into there, and then of course recovering it. And so that then enables the makgeolli to rehydrate it with the alcohol, so it starts to get fermented. Then they're adding the sugar in, so it re-ferments now and gets that sweet, starts to break down. The osmotic pressure starts to pull out juices, all kinds of things like that. I read the soil is anion exchange in Hawaii or cation. I think your roots will be better because of this. Maybe. Soils are about the amount of microbes in there more than the constituency, because as you get it, sure it holds nutrients differently and how calciums and all that react. But really, once you get enough organic matter in there, either way, soils become very similar. And yeah, your birds eat IMO and spread it in the garden. Awesome. So here's them doing the wet ingredients here, and they're taking all this garlic, mashing it down, which crushing it up, and then mixing it with the sugar here. So this is the starting with the wet ingredient. Here's them doing the same with the ginger here, getting that together. Then this is after they let those ferment a few days. Now they're adding in this vodka, right? And in their case, it's soju, which is a 35 to 40% alcohol. And then of course, after they add the soju in, now they're putting a plastic lid over the top to keep it from coming out. And then every day they're stirring it clockwise, which it looks like that's going counterclockwise. So from Master Cho, unless the picture is flipped, you don't know. But look at these nice clay vessels they have. And this is at like the Goksung Learning Center. They have these nice clay vessels and things. So it's really nice for them. And so how do I pour back 1/3 or 2/3 for the second vodka round? So let me get to that next slide. Oh, it's gone. So let me, in fact, here, let me transition back to this one and then pull up, pull up this one here, and let me show you the OHN pour-off controversy, because this is the most controversial thing in natural farming, but you can hear it direct from Master Cho and Master Lee on this, but basically it's right here. This is the pour-off procedure. So I'm going to go switch this back over here now. But this is the pour-off procedure. So it's tinctured for 2 weeks, stirred daily, right? And now you're at the pour-off. So here's your large vessel where you're going to pour all your pour-offs into, of like, say I'm doing garlic. This is like my garlic pour-off jar. Then what I'm going to do is I pour all the liquid out of this tincturing jar, right? So all the liquid comes out, all of it comes out. And what happens is all that goes into this big container. And the first time it doesn't really matter. Like pouring all of it out doesn't matter, because then you're going to take this jar, which all your things mixed into, and then you're going to pour some of this back and fill up your vessel 1/3 full of liquid. Now in your 1/3 full of liquid coming back, there's going to be herbs up to about here, 2/3 in there. So you just pour the liquid back until it fills up 1/3 of this. Your herbs will be above, but the liquid line comes up 1/3. Then you go and top the rest off with fresh alcohol, and you fill back the alcohol all the way to the brim, and then you return back up to this step here, where you are again letting it tincture and ferment for 2 more weeks of stirring. Then again, you pour all the liquid off. And what happens is your first and second batches mix in here, right? And they mix. And then from here, you're then pouring this first and second batch, you're reseeding it back in to fill up that third thing. 1/3, where you fill it up, and now you got the first and second batches in there. So you got a stronger and a little bit weaker one. Then you refill it with alcohol again. Then you go back up to the top. Then again, after 2 weeks stirring, then you pour it back into here. And again, so now you're getting your first, second, and third batches all mixing in here, mixing really well. And then you're reseeding back in 1/3. And so each time you're reseeding in, you're not just pouring off, You're pouring off and then mixing and then pouring back in. And this is the way, you know, like it's the most controversial thing ever. It's why certain people started to hate me in the thing, and it caused a whole bunch of drama in 2018, and it blew up our whole natural farming thing here, and all kinds of like battle ego trips and all this stuff. And I was just like, look, this is what it says in the book. This is what I learned directly from Master Cho. And then Master Cho came early 2020, I reckon. And then and there was this, or no, actually it was 2018, excuse me, it was 2018. And then he goes and there was this huge controversy. Everyone's like, what? Asked him, you know, like it was kind of like a really sad thing, because he, you know, like Master Cho's there to teach us and give us these downloads, and these people were asking these basic questions, not because they didn't know the basics, because we had taught them the basics, but because they didn't trust us as instructors, and they were trying to pit us against each other to be like, who's right, who's wrong. And it's like, and so it came to this huge controversy thing where I think I had the video. It's one of Master Cho's basic videos that you can actually watch on YouTube. But there's this huddle, and there's like 20 minutes of them deciding, and like people interjecting and being like, "Rrr." And then it turned out that like this is the way, like what I'm saying right here is the way to do it, right? But other people talk about different ways and say different things. And I even got a text message from someone saying, hey, can't we just do it this way? And we had just previously agreed to ask Master Cho about, you know, if we have a problem between each other as instructors, because we're secondary instructors of this stuff, that we'd ask Master Cho. And then he was like, oh, can't we just do it my way? And I was like, no, we should ask Master Cho. And then we ended up, you know, and then, so there's huge controversy. There's other videos out there that show different things. There's different people that, you know, say different things and whatever. But this is the way that Master Cho and Master Lee and everybody that is a Korean natural farmer primary source does it, is the way I just showed you there. Let's see here. So there's a question here of why is it so critical to store the OHN clockwise? I'll just say, number one, it's in the Milky Way, we're spinning clockwise. So if you spin it clockwise, you're more in harmony with the universe and all of that stuff, which I'm pretty sure that's correct. But number two is that it doesn't really matter. In fact, sometimes I just shake them, to be honest. Like right over here, just to the that side of Flat Eric, there's a bunch of OHN jars there, and I shake them often. I shake them and I spin them in the clockwise way, but I don't even pull the thing out to stir it because I'm lazy and I get slapped by Master Cho. But the other thing with OHN is that it is very time consuming and very expensive, and the more time and energy and thoughts you put in, the more it's like a spiritual journey to do it. I swear, the first time you make OHN, you will then achieve your KNF badge, which you can like put on you and be part of this revolution and be this person that good vibes are flowing out from you because you've really earned it in this way of being this, you know, like dedication. And it's sort of like this Asian thing of like, why do it the way you exactly said it? I'm an American. I'm going to optimize it. I'm going to make a robot to do this. And you would just, Master Cho would just come and just slap you and just, you know, it's like, there's a lot of this, you know, tradition, you know, all this of like subtleties that when you put your mind and focus on it and you're precise enough to go clockwise, it's just like you're building a building. Everything has to be square, plumb, true, right? And if you're like sloppy on one way and you're not thinking about it and you're just like, not thoughts aren't there, the product that comes out at the end is probably not as superior as you could be. And if you're going through all this time, energy, effort to ferment and then go and put the liquor and all this stuff, it's like, yeah, may as well do it right? So that's why I don't know. Other than that, it's just woo-woo hippie stuff. You could try it, you know, 2 different batches, one counterclockwise, one shaken, one stirred clockwise. Sample them. I don't know if you're going to see a difference. Maybe, maybe not. I can tell you on this here of the pour-off procedure where you're pouring off, mixing your batches, and then pouring it back in, you will see a difference, right? If you're just pouring off each time, pouring off 1/3 into this jar, as some people say, you're not going to get the same product at the end of the day. But because you're not even mixing these batches and pouring it back in, right? You're just pouring off 1/3 each time. And that is, you will see significant difference in that. So that's that. And yeah. And so Manuel is asking, what are the characteristics of the alcohol that can be used to make OHN? I was wondering if it could use fruit alcohol or something other than vodka. Absolutely, you can. Just make sure that the alcohol is greater than 35%. And I don't recommend using things that are like 90%, like Everclear or something. Just stick with like the vodka range, like rum, vodka, tequila, any of those, any alcohol, hard alcohol that's higher than 35% should be fine. The soju, however, then when they do it traditionally in Korea, is a bit sweeter. And that sugar, if your OHN is not coming out very sweet, each time you do a pour off, like I was showing here, each time I'm doing this pour off, each time that I'm at this step here where I'm returning the alcohol back, you can add like maybe a tablespoon of sugar, brown sugar into here, and it helps keep it sweet, which the soju is naturally sweet. So one time I was with Master Cho in a bus and I had him taste my OHN. He said, "Oh, not very sweet." And it was because it should have that sugar content because they're used to using soju there. So, so there's lots of like subtleties to it that he would talk about and get into there. Okay, and Partita is saying that it's really hard to get organic matter here because it's always hot and very often too dry. Then Partita, I would recommend charring wood and burying charred wood. It'll really help to increase your organic matter and to slow those breakdowns and then to pull those into your area. So Partita, go with biochar if you can. It's just charred wood, and use that. Okay, so okay. Okay, so Post Up Media is also asking, like, let's go back to this presentation here, and transition this over. Okay, so this is the OHN. This is answered some questions on there. I'm glad. And then he's getting into the FPJ, also known as KNF Food, because if you talk about it as KNF Food, now you don't know how to use it. Sure, you could call it fermented plant juice or FPJ, but then you get to people and they're like, how do I use that? And they don't know. So if you call it KNF Food, it's a better choice. But here they're making the things from these different berries, different plants, these ones, fruits here, 3 ripe fruits, different flowers, different berries, different things. And that's mugwort there, this dropwort there. Those are Master Cho's favorites. Here's the mugwort. It's all in Korean, right? And he's talking about how great mugwort is. Here's the dropwort, all in Korean, talking about how great that is. Here's what I call portulaca. And this is another one that he uses for skincare. Here's the Korean. You can read that, obviously. This one is a kai, I think, a sai, something. Forget exactly. But I do have it on another thing of him actually lecturing to this lecture, or to these slides. So you can see those. Those are on my YouTube as well. Smash that subscribe unless you don't want to, because then don't. But you can see those things on my YouTube channel. So just click on the thing below my channel, go to it, search it, look for Master Cho something or other, and search through to find those. But here he is making, taking dropwort, mixing it with the sugar. Then he's packing a sugar lid on. Then when it's done, look at that. He had a little bit of mold on the top. Looks like mold to me. Finishing this up and then pouring it off. And he, again, is just pouring this in and letting it sit and letting this stuff sift out. Why wouldn't you squeeze it? This is what Post Up Media was asking. Why wouldn't you squeeze this? Well, you just took and pulled out, with the whole point of the fermented plant juice is to have the plant matter and have the sugar against it. The sugar then breaks the osmotic boundary and brings just the best juices through the cell wall, right? So it doesn't damage the cell wall. Your cell wall is still here. Just the good juice comes through the cell wall, and now you got that. And that's what you're wanting. That's where your growth hormones, your enzymes, all the goodness is. Now, if you take this here and then you squeeze it, you're going to rupture those cell walls, and things, juices that you didn't want to come through, the stuff that's like crap. Like for instance, me, if you just want my blood, you would just like slit my throat or slit, you know, here and hang me upside down and drain me out and all my blood would come out, right? But then if you take me and you crush me, a bunch of crap is going to come out of me, right? Because I'm full of crap, man, just like everyone. And all that crap is now tainting that beautiful blood that you got out, right? Because the blood is where the most vital hormones, enzymes, everything is. But as you crush me, crap comes out. So that you don't want the crap to come out. You just spent all this time, energy, and stuff. And so if you put that in a press, you're going to press out the crap, right? And you don't want that. You don't want that at all. So just let it gravitationally drain out. What drains out, drains out. Now, if you take the rest of it, and he's saying take the rest of it to make a vinegar, so separate that batch, then put it in a press and press that out, and then let that convert to vinegar, because crap will convert to vinegar. It'll still be sugary. It'll go, but don't, like, there's a difference, like, between your first, like, pure good batch of the KNF plant food and the crap batch, where you press it out. So that's the reason, I mean, a lot of people want to squeeze the crap out of it, right? Squeeze the crap out of it. But highly recommend that you don't if you want these things to happen. So yeah, so and you're thinking that Cyclopath was thinking that more alcohol is better because the percentage will be more and you get a good extraction. Yeah, so that's the way, I mean, the way that I show, the way Master Cho talks about it is with the more alcohol to pull more extraction out, and that's how the way it is. Should IMO2 return to liquid? Some of it will. It'll liquefy up. And one stayed more solid. It can be variable. If you're adding equal weight of sugar with your IMO2, your seed IMO to your brown sugar, equal weight. Some will liquefy, some won't. It depends on how they are. Yeah. The good intentions, Cyclopath. You're on it, man. So, what's up, Brandon? How's it, Berta? Okay, so I'm going to transition back to this one here and seeing how they're making it here. They're letting it pour out after. Excuse me, I need to drink a little bit more tea. And one of the best things, post up, I guarantee, Joel, I guarantee you can grow comfrey down there. So go grow comfrey. It's going to be just a hammer for you. The way it comes out, you know, you got bananas, guavas, all those things, man. I know they grow down in, let me think, Panama, right? Yeah. Okay, here's, so this is them making it from, looks like, is that strawberries or guavas or some kind of fruit? They're making it, and see how much more liquidy it is when you make it from fruit. And that's because the fruits are so much more liquidy, which is why when I'm making it from plant material, I went back a little bit, but this plant material, you only add 1/3 the weight. So if I weigh this and say it comes out to 3 kilos or 3 pounds, that's what, I mean, I'm just saying, like, then I would add 1 pound of sugar if this was 3 pounds, or if it's 3 kilos, I'd add 1 kilo of sugar. So 1/3 of your plant material to sugar. If you're doing fruits like this, your fruits, because they're so much more liquid and because they're much sweeter, you add equal parts. So say this is like 3 pounds of fruit, I'm going to add 3 pounds of sugar to it. Okay. So there's a difference on how you're making your KNF food and your material you're using. Vegetable type stuff, 1/3. Fruity type stuff, almost equal. So significantly more sugar when you're doing fruits. And you see how liquidy this is, and you see how it's floating, versus in this one, you see how it's packed down and it's not floating. This is the difference here. So when you're doing a fruit, you're adding more of it, okay? And then here's them. What are they doing? I don't know. It looks like they're doing bananas. Or no, that's bamboo. That's a really good choice. Bamboo is super juicy, tons of growth hormones, tons of enzymes. Awesome. What are they doing here? They're vacuuming something. This looks really weird. Oh, you know what they're doing? They're just, I think this is potatoes or something, and they're pushing this strainer down and then pulling up the liquid without actually pouring it off. I don't know why you do that, but that's what they're doing. So interesting, your extraction method. And Partita says they've been using soursop leaves and comfrey. They also have some actual greenhouse trials going with barley and winter wheat. Those are awesome. Heaps of comfrey starts to go in this week. That is the epic one, man. Comfrey, I love it. So next here, coming on, looking at fish amino acid. That's how you say fish amino acid in Korean. I once learned how to read the Hangul, but I promptly forgot it because it was hard to learn the next step of it. Like, Hangul is actually pretty easy to learn. Each of these is like, this is like, in, I don't know, ta, da, ta, you know, like, it's actually pretty easy to learn how to say these things. And just like our alphabet, it's pretty easy to read Hangul. But then once you got the Hangul, then you got to actually translate it into Korean. That's hard, man. I'm like, I mean, I just got to apply myself. But look at this. Here's all their sardines. Look at all those sardines. Great choice. You got tons of these sardines, mixing it with equal weight of sugar, and then putting it down, sugar, 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 and then they're putting rocks on top and a little bit of hay. Why the hay? Because the hay is bringing in the little bit of microbes, little bit of carbon to help the whole thing balance out. The rocks are holding the material under, and they probably put some IMO on here. I don't do that. I just seal the lid and don't do that because it eats away the fats and the oils and different things. But here it is. They're, holding their fish amino acid down with some bamboo, some hay. It looks like that's getting mixed in. Their rocks are starting to sink. These rocks, afterward, you put them in their garden, and they're like little batteries that power up your garden. It's amazing, but that's them. And then look at this. They opened it later. This is the way I do it, where I just seal that stuff with a lid very tight, and I don't put the hay, and this is the way I do it. And look at that. It's sucking all this juice out of these sardines or fish or whatever they are here. And doing it. And then at the bottom, this is another one of their things where on this one, I think this was the same. You're looking at the top of this. If you want to flow through where you have a tap at the bottom, and this is the way I used to do it. However, I just do it in buckets now and just pour off the top. But this way you can load it in the top and you never have to open it. You load a bunch of rocks at the bottom that will keep the fish and thing from clogging. And those rocks then will keep this from clogging. You can just tap off the bottom. This is a great way to do it as well here, using stones at the bottom. And I used to do this too. I'd actually put a hardware cloth mesh on top of these rocks and keep it to go, and it worked really well. But I just don't do it anymore that way because I have so much of it, and I only have so many buckets with taps and things. 808 Shibi, making it from the honohono grass. That's one of the best ones to make it from. It tastes like barbecue sauce, man. I love it. The KNF food made from honohono grass is so delicious. And cool. Yes. So Partita is saying that the KNF food is working better than any and all specifically designed fertilizers commonly used by farmers on the winter wheat and barley. That's amazing. So, yes, and these rocks also, as Post Up Media is saying here, they also bring in minerals, and it's good as the lactic acid's breaking down. The rocks are very important. You don't have to use them if you're just interested in the fish aminos, but the more balanced you get, the more rocks that are in there. It pulls things out and the lactose starts to break them down. There's another thing in here called the bacterial mineral water that he'll show probably. I'm not sure it's in this presentation, but then he's getting into water-soluble calcium, which is called KNF Reproduction because it's used at the reproduction stage. And it helps to harden like an egg, harden off these fruits. Wow, 40% higher germination rates using KNF. Amazing. So here he's using eggshells. He's also using oyster clam shells, like seashell type things. So both these are good. They work really well. First thing he's doing is he's toasting these things. He's toasting them on a pretty low heat, and he's toasting these. This is really not the best photo, But he smashes them up as he's toasting them. And notice he's doing this outside because you don't want to do this inside. It'll smell really bad. And it looks like he did not pull out the membrane prior to doing this. But as you start to crush these things, the membrane will start to cook off and separate, and then you can winnow it in the air. So just drop it from the pan to another pan below and just back and forth with a fan or wind blowing, and it will blow out the membranes, because you don't want a whole bunch of membranes in there. It will cause rot. So smash it, winnow it, and then here he's got the vinegar in there, and then he's adding the eggshells to it slowly, because if you do it the other way around, you add the vinegar to the eggshells, it will overcook, like we saw Julia do a couple weeks ago. Thanks for that. That was awesome. And then so eventually all the eggshells start reacting, come up to the top, and then eventually they'll sink down in these bubbles. And if you fill it too high, this will spill out, and it's really kind of problematic. So you want to be careful on that. And then here he is. Then afterward, after you've started this reaction a little bit, then later you can add the rest of your eggshells in and the rest of your vinegar in to make it all the way up full, right? So it's kind of like a, just do half of it first, wait for it to react, then add the rest of the vinegar and the rest of the eggshells to get it up to the other spot. Otherwise it'll go too much. But there you go, water-soluble calcium, also known as KNF Reproduction, because it's easier to use it if you call it by how you use it. Post Up is saying our 1-month-old KNF Fuel, the fish aminos, is bubbling. It's almost like beer brewing days, and it smells great. It has IMO4 in it. Our older batch never had this kind of activity. Is it the IMO4? It may be that your fish was more moist. It may be that there was more blood in it. More moisture will cause more activity. If you want, you could try adding a little bit more sugar to it to try and stop that. But you're saying that it smells good. If it smells good, it's good. So if it was starting to smell rotten, throw more sugar in there or submerge your fish under. But it sounds good. Post Up. I think everything's going good there. Wow. Okay. And Portita's still talking about that experiment, and she thinks it's going to increase the nature of the greenhouse trials is heavy seeding in pots. There's no doubt from experience that the SRI style plant space too. Wow. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. And it's actually, Shibi, it's actually easier to pull off the membranes before. So right as I'm done cooking the eggs, put them in a little bit of water, and then let it sit for a couple minutes. Warm water really helps, and then just scrape those things out, and they come out pretty easy. So either way, you can do it before or after. I find it easier to do it before. Okay. So next one coming up here is water-soluble calcium phosphate. They have this acronym, but it's easier to call it KNF Structure because that's what it does. So they're taking bones. These look like pig bones. Nice jaw there. And any land-based thing, don't use a bird. Their bones are too thin. By the time you char them, they're gone. They're just ash. You can't really char bird bones very well. And brown rice vinegar here. So and I use white vinegar. I'm just saying, I'd probably get slapped by Master Cho, but it's okay. White vinegar does the same thing. So you char these bones, try to avoid making them over to ash cooked, but char them up. If a little bit of ash is on the outside, that's fine. Char them up, crush them down, throw them in with the vinegar, and it bubbles away. Super easy to do. There's only 2 slides on it. That's how easy this recipe is, right? Ooh, look at that. Done. Charred bones, vinegar. Wow. You're doing experiments funded by the EU, so the results will be published. They may help change the way crops are produced. Yes, fingers crossed. Please get that out. Get the European Union sovereign for food because they're starving for energy right now. Yes. So yeah, they're going to need this. Lactic acid bacteria, also known as KNF Protectors. So what are they doing? I don't know. What the heck is this? They're adding milk to something? Why is it bubbling? What is wrong with their milk? Oh, this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen this happen, and I'm not really sure what they're doing. But the first thing to do, the cartoon, maybe they didn't have great pictures. The cartoon, wash your rice, pour the rice wash serum into your deal, have it ferment. I don't know. This is not the best thing from Master Cho here. I've never seen him, but these things float. Oh man, this is like this is a worse explanation than I gave. Okay, yeah, cool. That's awesome. Cool, yeah, and if you share that stuff with me, I'll help spread it out here and help get it out to the global community, Partita, because it'd be great. The more research, put it on KNF, pureknf.org, get our research out there. The more that this happens, the more it's peer-reviewed, the more it's scientifically sound. It's good. I don't know. This lactobacillus looks like the worst guide I've ever seen. But, yeah, and their lactobacillus isn't even separating that well. Mang. So I'm not sure who's doing this, but they're not doing it as well as they could be. Oh, here's a maltose recipe, though. For those of you that are into KNF recipes that are beyond the 9 core, maltose is one of them. So he's taking barley, soaking it, getting them to sprout a little bit. Once they're sprouted, he's going to take this sprouted barley like this and lay it out to dry. And then it dries, right? Look at that, it's all dried. Then they crush and pulverize it. And then looks like they're adding it to water here. And they're getting this soup to come out here. And then this is then your maltose. So crushed and dried in there. I'm not sure, I might be doing it a little bit wrong here. But there's also, in case you're curious, there's another... let me see here. Maltose. Hang on. Trying to do a few things at once here. I'm going to find maltose in this other recipe book and just also simultaneously while I'm at it give you the maltose recipe because why not? So here. And if you pause this video, you'll be able to read this probably. But here's the maltose recipe. So by using barley, and yeah, it's also possible to get it from a sweet potato or taro for making maltose. So those of us in the island that don't have barley can use that. So the way he's doing it, whole barley, thin cloth water. Put the barley in a bowl covered with water. Water it for 1 week as they sprout. When the sprouts get 1 centimeter long and the tips turn to be a light green, then dry the barley. Then pound that dried barley. Then pour water and rub and soak the pounded barley. Save the suspension after soaking. Add the suspension to 2 to 3 bowls of rice cooked hard and keep that warm in the electrical rice cooker. Do not keep it for too long to prevent sourness. Filter the rice through a sieve and use the liquid only. So that's how to make maltose. I did not see rice in those pictures, but this is the way to do it. That's the way to make maltose from barley. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Yeah, and then to use it, dilute it 1 to 500. Use it with other natural farming materials. If it's applied to a paddy field, the rice straw can be decomposed rapidly because of the actions of enzymes. Also, the maltose helps to make the soil foundation. Use it for seedling trees treatment as well. So in your seedling, your first seed soak solution, adding that because it has the germinated seeds. So seed soak, it's good. Maltose is good for treating dampening off, root rot, soft rot, classic bacterial problems that it'll alleviate. And use maltose when the crop is severely affected by physiological or environmental damages, lower high temperatures in the early growth stages. So really helps early plants grow. And maltose can be used when the livestock suffers from dyspepsia or loses appetite. So maltose, good for a bunch of different things. And a little extra bonus there, get some maltose. Learn about that. And yeah. So that's what's going on here in these photos. That was, you know, the barley being smashed, then soaked with rice, hard cooked rice, and then they're getting this liquid off, and that then diluting it 2 to 3 times, and then using that 1 to 500. So that's maltose. Not a very good shelf life on it, very hard to keep around, but that's how to make it. That's how to use it. That's what to do. So, oh, here, bacterial mineral water. This is how to get those minerals that we're talking about. And this is Master Cho's setup. So this here pumps water up, drops it about 3 meters or 10 feet down onto your rocks. These are a bunch of rocks in here of different types. And the water's dropped onto these. Then it runs around in this circulator and drops and just continues to circulate the water around and around and around here. And then here is a bag of IMO4 being dangled into the water. And once you dangle this, and then once it begins to float, or once it begins to sink, I think, you change it out, because it'll float in the beginning, and then once it sinks, you change it out. And you just keep this system running and pump it around and around and around. And this gets the rocks to, the bacteria starts to grow biofilms on the rocks, starts to dissolve those rocks and brings all this extra minerals into your water. So there was a thing while I was in Korea. Let me see. I shouldn't transition all this over, but let me see here. There was a thing here. No, I didn't actually put it on the internet. Okay. So there's a kiwi farm that I went to visit, and they had that going on, and had the system going. There's also Master Lee at his place. He has a very similar, smaller one happening. So this is a close-up of looking at the bacterial mineral water. Again, you see the water falling down onto the rocks that are suspended in this container here, and it's shaded to keep the sunlight off of it. And then here's a close-up of looking at those rocks. So they got, like, you know, schist and gypsum, and I don't know. There's a list of rocks that are good, but just take the nice basalt and whatever you got around you, nice rocks, put them in here, coral, and crack them so that they're sharp, so they're very thin, and then let this thing run, and it will take all the minerals out of that sieve. Here's another system. This is just homeboy making it, you know, cheap style. This little thing to drop the water, recycle it around in this pump, get things going. Very homebrew style here. Make it happen. Silicate. Interesting. So he's taking, what is that? I don't know. And brown rice vinegar. And he's cooking it. I don't know what that is, though. He's never ever talked about this with me. Now he's putting hay on top. What is he doing? Yeah, so I'm not sure. What is he cooking to make silicate? Who can identify that? Put it in the comments below. No, I don't know. Not sure what that is. I should research this stuff. But it looks like this is Pastor Lee's house. I recognize that building. So it's Pastor Lee cooking something on a 55-gallon drum. Sunflower stalks? I'm not sure. It doesn't look like sunflower stalks to me. It looks like some sort of rock. I don't know. Is it? Yeah, you can get silica from horsetail. Sesame stalks? I'm not sure. These stalks looks like hay to me. Maybe they are. Maybe they are sunflower stalks or those things. I don't know. Well, yeah, sure. You can get access to this. I mean, if you can read this Korean, it's right there. Believe that just says silicate, though. I don't think it says anything else. And then I don't think there's any Korean here that shows it. But for sure, I mean, just pause the video and you'll see the stuff. I can get that to you. So let's see what he has with other materials. Okay, so Master Cho doesn't always talk about all these things, and they're not as necessarily as 9 core solutions, but there's much more on it. You think that was bamboo? Maybe it was. It doesn't really look like bamboo to me, though. I don't know. Let me zoom in. What does that look like? Looks like rocks, man. I don't know what that is. Looks like rocks to me. So Let's see here. Let's see what he has for other materials. He has other things listed here. Let's see what he got. Chitosan. So he's taking crab shells and then I think dissolving those in vinegar and or crushing them. And if you use crab shells, you're going to get a lot of chitosan, which is good. I actually went to another guy in Korea, Kil-young Kim, and he was making chitosan. So that's a good thing. Let's see. Also, water-soluble potassium. This is from tobacco stalks. Taking tobacco stalks and then soaking those in water to get water-soluble potassium out of there. I'm not sure if you have to char them first or not, but I don't think so. Yeah, no, you don't. You just soak the tobacco stems in water and you get the potassium out of it. This is water-soluble phosphoric acid. This is taking sesame. This is the sesame here and then charring that and then soaking that in water, getting water-soluble phosphoric acid. The chitin. Yeah, chitin is a great thing to spray on fruit trees about 2 weeks before any frost. Yep, chitin helps harden it up. Oh, loess powder. I just made some of this stuff. Actually, when Iceman was here from Alaska, we ended up making Don and Donna Ray. This is taking the dirt and putting it in a shallow dish and then letting the thing cool or dry. I should probably do a little bit more explanation on this, but taking it and it's just red dirt that you mix with water and then put it in the shade and the water will come off and then it forms this stuff that makes it really hard. It's not just like mud. It's like it's changed the magnetic properties of everything by doing this. Oh, it said potassium silicate on the silicate slide. Okay. So maybe that's potassium silicate. I don't know. Maybe it's a chemical they're doing. Some kind of pelletized rock dust or clay. Yeah, I'm not sure. And Partita saying that she made silica out of horsetail, and it's a great fungicide. Yep. And so malted barley from the brew shop. I'm not sure. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, and increases sugar. So antifreeze, like the horsetail silica, is very good. You can also use the biodynamic way out of making it from crystals and all those things. Maybe it's anthill soil. I'm not sure what it was. I don't know. I could look it up later, see if Master Cho talked about it any time and I just forgot. I don't know. So loess powder is good. You take this stuff, dry it out. It forms this really hard kind of like plate-like clay stuff. Crush that and use it. There is here, there's some loess powder talked about here. Let's see. Yeah, loess powder right here. Let me scroll this over and I'll show you guys this because why not? So here's him talking about loess powder here. So reasons for loess powder is loess powder is full of soil vitality and is the foundation for all life. Loess powder is uncontaminated soil containing various trace elements and even some growth factors that are yet undefined. So you want a PhD? Study loess powder. Loess powder possesses a natural healing power that has not been explained in scientific analysis. Natural farming uses this ability of loess powder. So, ooh, it's magic. How to use loess powder materials. Loess water containers. How to choose loess. Take the loess and put it in the water. There are two kinds of loess. One that submerges in a lump and the other that scatters in all directions. Choose the latter. Okay, so you want the dirt that spreads out. That means it has magnetic properties to it. It's spreading out. Then put 2 to 3 kilos of loess and 20 liters of water. Stir well. Thick particles will sink. The fine particles will float. Collect the floating particles in a separate container. As time passes, the floating particles will precipitate. When the precipitation is complete, drain the surface water called Jijangsu. Jijangsu. Water filtered through loess into another container. Dry this precipitated loess in a cool shaded place. Be careful that if the loess is dried under sunlight, it does not disperse in the water. And then how to use it. Add 20 to 30 grams of loess powder to 20 liters of water, which is basically, 1 to 1,000 there. Or 1 to 100 maybe. I think that's what that is. Mix the loess powder in a suspension with the seedling treatment solution for preventing diseases such as canker. Yep. So that's what he's saying about loess powder. Lots of mystery around that one. So let's see here. I'll finish this up. There's only a couple more solutions that he was suggesting here, and we're almost at hours worth of time. But he also talks about charcoal. Master Cho talking about the biochar. That's what I was suggesting to Partita. Yeah, any biodynamic stuff is great. Like boron. Yeah, and so if you have canker, try the loess powder. You may find it to be good, and I should maybe do a video on it because I did it not too long ago and it worked pretty well. And then we'll see what he says under storage environment. I have no idea. Oh, here it is. This is his Goksong storage thing. And of course, if you want to be a real expert natural farmer, you got to have one of these, which is a sweet shed with nice posters explaining all the solutions and all these clay jars containing all the solutions. And then, of course, an IMO pile in the center. And then these casks under here contain seawater, because I've been here. This is a cool place. Went there in 2008 the first time, and then every time we go there because Goksung is awesome. In the back's where they do their fish amino acids over here. I think they do it in a separate building so they can shut it off when it's stinky. But if it's stinky, you're doing it wrong. But all these are all their solutions hanging out here. And of course, this is the proper storage area is in your own sweet place where you can have people come from all over and teach them and truly ferment the revolution, right? So, and then of course he's storing it with, Korean paper around the lids, and he has these grass woven rubber bands to hold it on, and clay lids. And look, of course, if you're a top-notch natural farmer, of course you have all these clay jars, and like that's your jam, right? Or you're like me and you just do it in plastic buckets. Hey, that's what we got here in America. And then, storing all these things. Oh, look at that. All these displays, all the herbs out there. They're OHN, KNF Medicine, fermenting, doing it here. Man, this is how top shelf of how to do it. The loess powder, put it all on display so you can make your friends jealous. Teach them about it. Be like, this is what you want, this idealization. And then, of course, store your finished products. These are in a refrigerator right outside. So this is right outside. You see this insulated storage container. They are storing these outside, and then there's a date of when everything went in, which farmers have ability to get it, which jars are which, and they store all their finished products after they're done fermenting in this shed here. Right after they're done fermenting here, they bring them outside and they bottle them up, and then they store it in this cold storage outside. So if you are interested in watching to see that here, if you look up this playlist, which is Korean Natural Farming 2008 Master Cho, it's on my channel. You can look at it, click the link below, go to the thing, and then it's right here, this KNF Learning Center. So if you click on this link and go check this out, here's that fridge I'm talking about. That's that fridge you're looking inside of. And this is that building, and they're saying, Hawaii Natural Farmers, welcome, right? And if you go look, here's them. They're going to look in that fridge. Wait, where is it? Here, Dr. Park's reading out what's in that fridge. And then do we look inside of it? I don't, oh, right here, yeah. We're looking inside that fridge. And so this is that cold storage area. We're looking inside of it, and this is how they keep all their ferments, in all these jugs, able to do it. Looking inside there. And then outside, their bones. Dr. Park taking a photo of us. But here we're going inside that learning center here. And this guy is also named Cho, but he's not in the family. Cho is like kind of a somewhat common name there. And looking inside, this is Ju Young. She's super knowledgeable. Master Cho's daughter that ended up betraying her and moving to Spain. So she's in Spain, Partida. Maybe look her up. Be careful. She's kind of gnarly, but she is living in Spain. So try look her up. So she's somewhere in there. So I don't know how you would find her or what you would do. But they're looking at their IMO and all this, and then here's their fish aminos in the back. But if you really want, you can watch this whole video here. It's pretty informative. There's my dad. This is 2008, man. What a long time ago. Me and my dad hanging out. Right now we're building a shed together. It's awesome. He's like a 70-year-old guy climbing up on the ladders with me. Good fun doing all this. But I'm glad, you know, kind of took a little bit different course this time of just showing these presentations and getting this natural farming stuff out there. Hope you enjoyed today's lesson, today's office hour, that you will go out, continue this revolution, share these things, get things together. And the Angelica, either all Angelicas work well. They're using Gigantus, I think. I think Angelica Gigantus. I don't know. It's actually listed in the book, but yeah. And if your red bricks melted everywhere, not mountains, it says my soil smells alkali like ammonia. It's not bad. I was told to hit it with lactic acid if I really need to fix this situation. Yeah, lactic acid bacteria, seawater. Those are going to help flocculate your soils. And then IMOs and charcoal, and try to you know, just load all that stuff on top, and hopefully it'll work out. It just means that you know, it's very anaerobic conditions in there. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for tuning into the office hour. Continue to do what you do. Love each other, love one another, love the earth, love the microbes. Shout out to Master Cho, even though it's hard to see him today. But you know, all thanks to him. I don't know where I'd be without him. I don't know what I'd be doing. Thanks to Royal Flush Farms in Idaho. Shout out to you guys, Spencer, all the people around the world tuning in, checking it out. And I'll see you guys next Sunday. I think I'll be here for sure. You know, try to make it every Sunday to do this. And but appreciate you. Appreciate what you're doing. Keep it up. Keep doing it. Share some stuff. Love to share what you have to share with me out to everyone, and to continue to spread the good love and everything. So yeah, thank you. Korean little heart for you there. Long live the natural farmer. Aloha.